Demo number 8 and of the Saudi, the state of the Invade. What I've currently done here is I've managed to complete a routine that allows me to determine the edges of a place down wall. I'm calling them walls at this point, but just to show you the code, what's happening is you have when you place down a box onto the map screen, it's placed down at an XY coordinate, but the graphic gets put onto a surface, and the surface is the image, the memory map. But what has to be performed here is when these little bots are moving across the screen, instead of checking every time they move, well, I'm gonna have to, but I'm gonna have to, instead of checking the inside of a box, I've decided to only check the outer edges of a box. And the boxes have 4 sides, right? Top, down, left, right. I've made 4 loops here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And these loops here, as you can see, they stuff an array with XY coordinates with different approximations at the end here. Like on the top wall, it would be the X coordinate gets incremented across a line, but the Y axis stays stationary because I don't add it. That's for the top, right? Now the bottom is going to be the same, but I got to add 10 because the box height and image is only 10 by 10 by 10 by 10. Instead of storing all the XY coordinates of a complete box, I'm only storing the outer edges. That way, when I do a collision test of these little bots that fly across the screen, instead of scanning a complete box inside outside, that takes up a lot of memory and resources, I'm only going to compute the outer edges. And I believe this technique is called the bounding box technique. I read about it a few years ago, and somehow it just came to my mind when I was programming this. Hey, I'll do that. And I'd never done it before, but I just figured out how to do it myself. I just started doing it, right? And it's done. But let's just run it so far and let's see what happens. I turned it into window mode instead of full screen here, but you'll see that that's interesting. In windowed mode, I noticed the boxes aren't placed properly. See, I'm not even going to do windowed mode. I'm going to change this to full screen, and the game will not work in a windowed mode environment. I'm not designing it that way. I'm designing the game to work in a 1024 by 768 environment. That's it. If you don't have that resolution, you're not going to play it. Plain and simple. I don't care. I'm the boss, and here's how it goes. Okay. Let's see how it runs here. Okay, it's full screen. Yeah, there, the box is working properly here. And I place these boxes down. Each time I place a box down, I store the outer edges into an array of each box. And there might be a performance issue that I've done here to save myself a lot of CPU cycles, is that I add the edges as the click is done. Instead of scanning all the boxes over and over again and over and over again, I'm not doing that. I'm only scanning them once, and thus the data is stored. Move on, go on to the next, and it's just working. Now I can spit these little bots out. As you can see at this point, they're not bouncing off these little green squares that I placed down. That's the next step here. I got to program that. I got to program what's called collision detection, and I got to program these little bots to in a sense think, which Well, they're not going to think hard, but I'll get them to think as much as I want them to. And I want to program them more than maybe they'll group up and go in packs and little groups and squads and maybe like fight. I gotta figure it out. But anyways, that's the current state of the Invade. Uh, it's still in build number 7, but that's okay. If you want to get a hold of me, that's burndata at Hotmail. Okay, later.